Welcome to Metal Verbalizers. This podcast is about supporting underground metal and talking about underground bands that we like. In this episode, I'm sitting down with Mark from the band Electrocutioner to talk about the band's new album, Harbinger. We talk about things like the musical approach on the album, we talk about things like the title, the artwork, and some more things about the album, as well as a little bit about Electrocutioner as a band in general. I'm Johan Verbalizer, and in this episode, we will verbalize Harbinger by Electrocutioner. Alright, so let's start by having you introduce yourself with your name and what you do for the band.
My name is Mark Brasino from New York Thrash band Electrocutioner. I'm playing guitar and screaming my throat away and vocals. And I do the synths on the album too.
Right. Speaking of the album Harbinger, the album has been out for a little while now. How would you say the response have been so far?
So far, we're very happy with the response. All the reviews have been positive, and any kind of criticism is kind of just like, well, that's what we do. So, for those who are kind of who like our style, they love it. For those who are just like objectively criticizing it, they seem to be thinking it's a pretty damn good album. So we're really happy with it, man. The fans have been going crazy. We play old school thrash, so some people are like, you guys, they're not doing anything new. I'm like, we're not trying to do 2025,
Yeah.
we're trying to do 1985 with our own style. So we're very pleased with how it's going,
Right, and yeah, of course, it kind of goes without saying, but I am, of course, one of the people who really, really liked it.
Thank you. Oh yeah. You've got a good brain.
Yeah, likewise. If you're someone who haven't heard the album yet and is about to, what would you say that you can expect on the new album?
That's a good question. I would say if you have not heard it and you're just thinking about checking it out, what we do is play super fast, pretty evil sounding, no frills, nothing fancy. We call ourselves no nonsense. We don't do crazy key changes and 25-minute guitar solos. We pretty much are just like a punch to the face. We play like the highest quality, like meat and potatoes thrash you can play. We're trying to pay homage to the old school, but have our own sound. So we're not copycatting people, but we're not doing the, we don't like modern thrash for the most part, who kind of abandon the old ways. So if you just want something fast, evil, that'll get your blood flowing, you're going to probably like it.
Right. After having heard the album several times now, I can definitely agree with that description. Kind of going into a similar question, that something I noticed was quite a few similarities, of course, with the previous album, but also a few differences that compared to the last one. But would you say that you had a similar approach on this album, or was it different from the last one?
It was a similar approach in that, like, we know what we want to do. I think that the only thing that was different here is when we wrote False Idols, our current drummer Tyler wasn't in the band. Our original drummer actually quit the band the day after we started kind of originally recording. So unfortunately, Tyler didn't have much input in that, and it was kind of like, although we did our best to get that album out, we had zero budget. We were still kind of getting to know each other as kind of a band. So with this one, as soon as we finished recording False Idols, we were already talking about what we want to do better, what we want to develop, how could we make it better. So yeah, I would say, we're pretty much never going to change in the sense like, we're never going to become black metal. We're never going to do this. We're just always trying to a little refine it, make things a little faster, make it sound like, but we're never going to, try. You're never going to see us, becoming a totally different band. If anything, we're just going to become faster and meaner, pretty much,
Right, because that's something like when I listened to False Idols and then went to this one and listened to Harbinger, something that I thought about was that False Idols almost feels a little bit more like raw in a way, while this one takes a little bit more like cleaner approach, if you get
Yeah,
what I mean. Uh,
100%. So yeah, yeah, God, sorry.
and something I also noticed was that, at least me, something I felt that this one was almost even faster and like even more intense.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. So False Idols was recorded for, $0 in my basement.
Right.
Um, so what was cool about that is we got a raw sound out of it, which, Harbinger is cleaner, and we're already like, all right, we love Harbinger, but we wanted maybe even a little rawer next time. So we did the drums and the vocals were done in a professional recording studio. Any dollar we ever made from merch, we put it all into the recording. So and False Idols, like I said, it was we were jamming the stuff with a different drummer, and he liked
Yeah.
to take things a little bit slower. So when we recorded those, they're actually when you see us live, like songs like Collector's Debt, False Idols, Revenger, we play those things like 10 times faster. Because if Tyler was in the band, we
Yeah.
probably would. If Tyler was in the band, we probably would have recorded that faster. So yeah, the whole goal was to be push it more extreme, faster, and we wanted. It's interesting, with False Idols, we weren't happy with the production so much because we had no money or, we couldn't fully do what we wanted. For Harbinger, we did everything we wanted. So now it's kind of like the next album we're already talking about. We want the speed and the intensity of Harbinger with the better production, but also, how a little more raw as False Idols. I think that's kind of where we're going.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And there's something that I kind of like felt as well when listening to both albums, that they kind of have a certain like Electrocutioner sound. Like both of them sound really like Electrocutioner, but also they have these kind of different styles when it comes to like we talked about, like the kind of raw sound of False Idols, for example, and when it comes to like the faster and more intense style of Harbinger.
Yeah, and part of it is, we don't want to sound, like crystal clear, and although I think Harbinger is pretty clear, but you know what I'm saying. We don't want to
Yeah,
sound
yeah,
like a overproduced and all that stuff. So the good thing is, even with Harbinger, I mean, it was relatively. I think we only spent maybe like close to $2,000 on the album, and that's all we had
right.
anyway. So we're never gonna have more than that. So we'll never sound like like Green Day or something like that. But
Yeah,
there's no, and we don't have time to spend extra time in the studio. So, and I think another thing that helps keep us raw is we're a three piece, and I've said it a lot. Like we're a three piece, and we always want to sound like a three piece. Like I
yeah,
hate when I listen to records of three pieces and like they have like two guitar tracks that sound like two different
right,
guitar
right.
players. They're doing Judas Priest harmonies, and I'm like, we don't ever want to do something we can't like do live. So it kind of keeps it simple and not, we want to sound big where it sounds kind of cinematic, but not like, you're playing an arena. We always want to sound like we're
Yeah.
just an ugly, evil bar band,
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, that's the goal.
Yeah, and I mean, personally, I think that you guys have succeeded in that so far, at least.
Well, thank you.
Uh, but yeah, something else that I would like to talk about is the singles uh, before the album. So the singles that you were releasing was, I believe, Heaven's Gate, Frozen File, and Lightning Sacrifice, I believe.
Yep.
What's the reason why you chose these songs as the singles? I mean, they're great songs, of course, but I think that about all the songs on the album. So, what's there a reason you chose those?
Yeah, usually when we're writing the album, when we have like all the songs done, we already kind of know like we kind of like have the philosophy that like when we put out a single, we're nobodies. We're relatively unknown, So we're always under the impression that anybody who listens to us, it might be for the first time. So and I think Electrocutioner, like we have our own sound, like we try to be very catchy. Like, we're very influenced by like Whiplash, like every
Right.
chorus, every riff is like you can whistle it back, it sticks in your head. So we tried to pick songs that we thought were super catchy and kind of showcases what we do. So originally Lightning Sacrifice was going to be the first single, but as we kept listening to it, we thought Frozen File was just a better song. Maybe it's not as mean as Lightning Sacrifice, but we're like, people check us out for the first time and they don't like that song, that's going to hurt it. So we just tried to pick songs that we thought would be the catchiest, that showcases our style, and they go, yo, I want to hear more. That's basically what the goal was. And we kind of
Right.
know like I think the only other songs that maybe we even considered for a single were like Doomsday Device, even the self-titled track Harbinger. It
Yeah.
sounds a little different. I was like, that doesn't really, sound exactly like Electrocutioner. It's a little, we do
Right.
something a little different. So we always just try to communicate like fast, catchy, and mean, and that's what we're going for.
Right. Yeah, I mean that makes a lot of sense, and kind of like as you were saying that it would kind of be a little bit of a bold move to choose a song as a single that either doesn't like 100% represent the band as a whole or like the album in
Right.
general. So
Yeah,
yeah, I
and
totally understand what you mean by
yeah,
that.
and like even Heaven's Gate, we put out maybe even a year before the album, and like leading up to the album, we were like, I don't think we're gonna put it on because it's kind of more like a Nuclear Assault type tribute song. We were just like would play it like,
Right.
let's record it, and then like up until a few months before, we were like, we're not gonna put it on the album, but then I started writing a lot about the cults and the religious aspect, and I was like, hey, you know
Yeah.
what, it fits, and we have a music video, we might as well throw it on the album.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember when you guys released the Heaven's Gate song, and I was like, oh, new song by Electrocutioner. I have to listen to this. So I can listen to it immediately, and then just when that riff comes in, I was like, I got hooked immediately.
Yeah. You're like I said, you're a smart guy, dude.
Yeah,
Nah, yeah,
I
yeah. I mean, Heaven's Gate is like a very Nuclear Assault,
yeah,
leeway type of song. And that's the goal. We always try to be catchy. We never want to go. I don't know. You never know where we progress as a band, but we never want to be like just so fast and chaotic that like we're a riff oriented band. If there's not
yeah,
like a sick riff, we don't want to just play speed for speed's sake. We always want to be catchy and memorable. Like we want to be like if you listen to our album enough and like, this is like some interesting, this is unique, it's smart, but at the same time, like, you can still just drink a 6 pack or a 12 pack with your
yeah.
friends and you don't have to listen too close. That's kind of our goal. We want to kind of check both boxes.
Yeah, exactly, and I mean that's something that I really like appreciated with the especially like Harbinger, but also False Idols as well. That it like it has this like you're saying memorable riffs. Like Heaven's Gate is an excellent example of that. But it also has this like intense and really
Yeah.
heavy style to it, which I think creates like a very great mix.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, a lot of thrash bands, I think the way, and especially as thrash progressed in the 90s and
Yeah,
the 2000s, it's interesting because most of it got away from the catchiness, which is fine. Everybody has different styles. Like whether in the 90s it got a little more techy or progressive. And then even with the modern stuff, it was more like, like the Municipal Waste of the world, a little more
yeah,
punky and crossover. And then even nowadays, like Power Trip, like you could say like Power Trip is definitely catchy with the riffs, but it's still not like old school sounding to me. The Power Trips of the world. It's like
yeah,
more,
yeah, yeah,
I don't know what it is. Like, I don't know how you would describe it. It's just like, they've incorporated other genres. So it's very riff
yeah.
based, but it's not like, it's not something like that you would find on Bonded by Blood, which is catchy and evil sounding, or Show No Mercy. That's what we're going for.
Yeah, exactly. I totally understand what you mean. But like there's a lot of thrash bands, great as they are, like implementing stuff like death metal or like
Yeah.
black metal, kind of like a black thrash type thing, or like you're saying, the more like crossover punk hardcore
Yeah.
type thing. But I've always like really liked this type of like more purer thrash sound, like you're saying,
Yep.
in the sense of like the old school Exodus, Bonded by Blood type
Yep.
thrash.
Yeah, unfortunately, man, and this, I'm not insulting anybody because I actually like a lot of those bands
Yeah,
too,
yeah,
but
yeah. Same here, same here.
a lot of thrash musicians, um, they don't, and that's fine. That's just that's what the thrash they want to put out. Like, they don't listen to obscure shit from the, 89 and 90 and 92. Like
Yeah,
they're listening, and maybe it's their youth too. Sometimes they hear like, oh, Power Trip was like, they got me into thrash, so they want to play that.
yeah,
So they're not inspired by bands like, Blood Feast and,
yeah,
cool shit like that. So I don't know why. I mean, I think you could like both, but it's always like you said, it's always intrigued me that like I think pure thrash is like it's not like an elitist thing or a gatekeeping type of thing, but like I think
yeah. I mean, same
there,
here.
yeah, I think there is a pure style of thrash, and then there's a style of thrash where they're incorporating whether it's the crossover or the even kind of like the that Swedish kind of the At the Gate style stuff like that.
Yeah,
So I like it pure. I mean, I like those other bands too. It's not an insult. It's just what we want to do is we want to we want to go back,
Right, right. Yeah, yeah. Something else that I would like to ask about the album, by the way, is the title track and the title of the album, Harbinger. Would like talk a little bit about that? Like, what made you choose Harbinger as the title track, for example?
That's a good question. So actually, Tyler, our drummer, he wrote about half that song. He wrote the intro, he wrote the main riff, and I just kind of tweaked it to make it sound a little more like us. And I think what's the video game? Mass Effect. I don't know.
Right.
So hopefully I'm getting it right. But he was like, "Yo, there's this video game called Mass." I don't even know what it was about, dude. No, I can't. I know there's like aliens or something.
Yeah, I'm familiar with
Um,
Mass Effect.
oh, yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, so you
Yeah,
could correct me, jump in if I'm wrong, but he was like, there's these things called like harbingers that are like messengers for the end of the world, and I'm
right.
like we should just call the record Harbinger. I was like that works for me, So and it kind of worked because the whole album is like the end of the world, doomsday. So I don't even think we ever had another title, honestly. Like we're
Right.
pretty simple. Like if something just works, we're like, all right, Harbinger's the name of the album, unless something disagrees. So I just think it fits the end of the world concept and like the good versus evil type things, prophecy. So I actually did a little research on the video game. I think I read like not a Wikipedia, but the other one, like a wiki of the video game. I don't know what it is,
Yeah,
but
there's like fandoms and stuff like that.
yeah, stuff like that. I was
Yeah,
like, what does the Harbinger do? And I kind of like looked up and
yeah.
I like it's they're kind of like a messenger of like the world's gonna end. So I kind of wrote it based on that.
Right.
So hopefully, I don't know if you play the game. Did I do it all right? Did I mess up lyrics?
Yeah, I'm not. I'm not a Mass Effect. I'm not like an expert on it, but
All
I
right.
mean, I have nothing to complain about.
Okay, good. Well, I'm still waiting. These Mass Effect video game guys, they got to check out our album. Like we gotta get these gamers to like our stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. But
Yeah,
yeah,
so that's
like,
cool.
would you like to talk a little bit about the lyrics in general? Maybe was there like
Sure.
a specific theme that you're going for, or
Yeah, yeah. So as of now, you never know what you can be inspired by, but I never write about my personal point of view on things, whether it's my, well, whether it's I've been through something. I just don't like it.
right,
I think I don't want to share my emotions and my opinions on stuff. So, um, just lately in my life, I'm very I just like to write what I get inspired about, but I don't want it to be like corny. Like from the get-go, I was like, I think on our EP, our first EP, which basically is like a demo, we wrote a little bit about nuclear war, and I'm like, it's kind of like this is kind of cliche. So, lately I just get very inspired by like religious writings, ancient texts. So some of it comes right from the book of Revelation in the Bible. I just like doomsday, end of the world.
right,
um Final prophet comes from like the Quran, the Islamic holy text, the Quran. And there was another like book from from Islam that I took. One comes from the book of Enoch, which is like an ancient like Christian Judaism book about like angels and destroying man.
yeah,
And then just like the writing of the cults. So like Seven Seals of Koresh is about the Waco cult in America. That was the government basically, botched this whole thing and killed like, children. And so I literally took the David Koresh, he thought he was like a prophet. I took his like writings and just took the lyrics. So a lot of it is I'll get like the words from a book and I'll kind of use that. Sometimes I actually will just
yeah,
lift the exact phrase and get me inspired by it. Or other times, like for example, like End of Days, I just wrote it off the top of my head. Like, okay, sometimes I just just want to fit it. So that's basically all it was. There's nothing. It's not a concept record. It's nothing. Nothing is my point of view. So every
right.
narrator, every track is like a narrator. So some people like have said like, "Are you guys a Christian band?" I'm like, "Nah, I just like the doomsday shit in the Bible. I think is pretty cool, so I just use it.
Yeah,
So that's basically all it is. But I
yeah,
have been saying I don't know. I don't want to do like religion anymore because False Idols had a lot of that too. So for the next record, I don't know what I want to write about because
right.
I'm just waiting to be inspired. I don't want to do something like typical, like just writing about murder and stuff like that. I want to
Yeah.
I want to do something a little different.
Yeah, I mean, if I understand it kind of correctly, is that when it comes to lyrics and the music, you kind of like wait for it to come naturally, and like when you
Yeah.
really feel about something, you kind of do it.
Yeah, exactly. That
Right.
and I like a narrative like I think is it Ride the Lightning? The song, not the album. he's writing
Right.
from the point of view of someone who's sentenced to death. I like
Yeah.
that type of stuff where you're telling a story as opposed to like, where you're singing about your life. Like I don't think I'm that interesting, so I'd rather write about something that's like almost like a horror story in a way.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, and I mean, kind of going back to like you're saying that, like the lyrics about cults and stuff like that. We were talking about Heaven's Gate, for example,
Hmm.
earlier. That's another example of that on the album.
Yeah, and it's funny. I ordered the book. I ordered the original Heaven's Gate. You can still
Right.
there's a few cult members that are alive, and I ordered the book and I read about it. And even when we put the song out, one of the members, he's all in the documentaries. He didn't commit suicide. He left the cult, but he
Right.
actually kind of not that he liked the song, but he liked that we weren't disrespectful. We weren't because a lot of people, they call the Heaven's Gate, crazy people, loony bins, because like they think that a UFO is gonna come rescue them. So
Yeah.
a lot of times when you see that stuff, it's like people like, oh, they're a crazy cult. Where I wanted to write it from the point of view of someone in that cult,
Yeah.
because someone could say that about your religious beliefs. Someone could say you're crazy, and so I kind of want to put like put myself in their shoes and say like, well, this is how I feel.
Yeah. Kind of view the subject from more of a, like an objective view, so to
Yeah,
speak, and also
yeah.
like you're saying from like the perspective of the actual people.
Yeah, and like same thing, like Final Prophet, I kind of wrote from like I forgot the text, but there's a story in Islam where like when Muhammad originally got his not his prophet, I guess his I don't know, he believed that an angel came and was giving him the text. That's what Islam believes. But I believe there's a story in Islam where originally when he got this angel came to him, he was like scared that it was like a demon. Like he didn't trust it at first and he thought like the devil was attacking him. So I thought that was a an amazing like experience. Like imagine you're starting a religion and your first thought is like, "Oh my God, these are like like they didn't trust it." I thought that was like a really beautiful idea, like the idea of like doubt, like you're doubting
Right.
your faith. Ultimately, you go one way or one way. But I thought that was really an interesting perspective to write about. Like, even the founder of a religion or a cult in like, the Seven Seals or Heaven's Gate, like even them, like were they ever 100% confident? I think that's an interesting idea.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. There is.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I would also like to talk a little bit about the artwork of the
Yeah.
album Harbinger. So like something I noticed and something that I really like is kind of like the I don't know what you would even call it, but like the kind of like retro neon style, background with like the ground with the
Yeah.
squares.
The grid. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah. So we wanted something to look like it could be in the future, but also it could be like a retro 1980s sci-fi. You kind of don't know, and we kind of wanted it to be like, is it like another planet? Is it like so we wanted it to be really kind of interesting in that regard, and people have dug it. So I like that it's kind of like it's got that 1980s like sci-fi feel, but also kind of looks like it could be like the year 3000 on a different planet. You don't know, you
right.
know? Yeah.
Because I don't know if that was like an intentional thing, but it kind of goes back a little bit to what we talked about earlier as well, with Electrocutioner going for a more like old school style of thrash. So
Yeah.
like the artwork could kind of be interpreted as a way to kind of symbolize that the kind of like
Yeah.
80s style.
Exactly, 100%. That's what we were going for. Yeah, so that was intentional. Like we got like 4 or 5 pictures that we used as like a reference to give our artist, who's amazing, Yudo Bhaskara. And yeah, we had one where like a guy was like just getting blown to pieces from. There's a scene from Terminator 2. I don't know if you have seen Terminator 2.
Yeah, of course.
There's a scene with the skeleton on the fence and he like
Yeah,
gets
yeah, yeah.
blown. That's like kind of part of that. So yeah, everything we kind of told him what we wanted and we just let him do his own thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that was one of the things that I really like thought about when seeing the artwork. The kind of like 80s style,
Yeah.
like you're saying, futuristic style, and
Yeah,
kind
and
of thought about the more 80s thrash kind of style.
yeah, we don't like I personally am a pure like 80s. I mean, I love old school thrash. I love a lot of modern thrash too. I'm not a caveman. Like I list every day.
Yeah,
Every day I check out a new thrash album. So I'm not one of these guys who are
yeah,
stuck. 'Cause I think that's bad too. I think there's a lot of like I call them like cosplayers. Like they're just trying to be like we're bringing back 80s thrash. It's like, dude,
right.
there's still great thrash bands coming out. So we wanted to have that old school vibe without being like too cliche. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, I mean, I saw your shirt, for example.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's an example.
Yeah. So, oh, you mean this one?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, yeah. Condition Critical. They put out an album the same day as us, and it's amazing. It's incredible. I mean, what a great band, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I listened to that one as well after Harbinger, and I really enjoyed it as well.
Well, it's funny because like when we picked out the album release date, September 5th, we picked it because it was Bandcamp Friday. We're like, all right, we need as much money
Right.
because when I don't know if people know, but on Bandcamp Friday, the artists keep all the money. So,
Yeah.
you know, we're like, we're poor, we have no money. So if we can get every dollar from that day, we could put it recording to our next album, you know, instead of we like paid a lot of our money. But and then Condition Critical announced the same day, Violator announced the same day, and then Dark Angel. So it was a great
Right.
day for thrash. 4 records came out, man. So
Yeah.
and you know, the Violator album was pretty evil as hell too. I thought I liked it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, it's kind of like you're saying. New bands today deserves all the support they can get, and
Yep.
you know that's a very very big part of what we are doing and why we do what we do.
Yeah, I mean, I think thrash is still kind of niche where like I think most people out there who love thrash, like sometimes they're just like me. Like I just listen to thrash for the most part. You know, I love all types of music, but thrash I'm every day I'm checking it out. But
Right.
if you find a cool thrash band, I immediately like send it to 4 friends. Like, dude, did you hear this record? Did you check this out?
Yeah.
And they send it to me. So that's the best way to support a band, man. Just send if you find something awesome that like you send it to a friend, send it to someone who like even
Yeah.
like I've even found albums from thrash bands that are really I like them, but I probably won't listen to it again. I'll just say, hey, dude, I think you would really like this is your
Yeah.
style.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. I don't know. People need to. It's not just all about social media. Text your friends. You know, old school stuff. Just word of mouth. You know.
Yeah. Exactly, and that's exactly like you're saying, and something that I've been talking about a lot as well. That every single thing helps. That like liking posts for bands, like leaving comments,
Yeah.
sharing the music, like you're saying. Just share it around as much as you possibly can, because like these things do actually have a big impact, and it
Yeah.
does actually help a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, because yeah, I think that's the best way too. And I think that's the most organic way. You know, like I kind of we're a little older, so like we just do the social media because we have to. But like I hate when I see these young bands doing all like like the TikTok shit where it's like it looks so fake, man. They're like
Right.
it looks like they're always just trying to get fans instead of trying to get people to listen to their music. Where like we don't look at people like as fans. We just like check out the record. If you like it, oh thanks. So I think that's the best way you can do it is like send it to people. I'll let them put their opinion on it. But the best way to support a band is not to just follow them and it's like, yo, check out the music. And if you dig
Yeah.
it, spread it. And then when they come to
Exactly.
your town, go crazy.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, I strongly agree with that. I mean, I'm also the kind of person that when I find a cool like underground metal show or something, I would gladly go.
Yeah. Yeah, it's,
So
it's and as a metalhead or just someone who loves metal, there's nothing cooler than when you find a band
yeah.
and your friends don't know who they are and you get like
Yeah.
it's
Exactly.
funny like that band Species from Poland. I don't know, do you know them? They're great. I don't know if you know them. They
I'm not
they're
sure.
they're
Maybe.
kind of like progressive tech thrash, but they have a new album coming out. 3 piece, they're pretty wild, but my buddy sent me, he's like, dude, you ever heard of this band? I was like, dude, I got that album the day it came out. Like I knew about that band first. So that's the best thing about it. That's why you got to stay up to date with metal because you can really like the YouTube channel New Wave of Thrash Metal like every
Yeah.
day they put out like 3 albums.
Yeah.
And the New Wave of Thrash Metal group on Facebook, all these
Yeah.
groups and channels like yourself, dude. I love your would you call it a podcast? I don't know what you would call it, but like what would you
Yeah.
yeah, like so but it's you have a unique format where you're not like interviewing people for hours. Like sometimes you just for 10 minutes spotlight a band. I think that's
Right.
awesome. Like so there's it's never been easier to get into awesome music, like you're doing the work for me,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah, and
I'm like, all right, let me check
I'm
out what you
gladly
said.
doing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you're saying, channels like New Wave Thrash Metal, like we are of course big fans of them as well. Like
Yeah.
they're doing absolutely fantastic work for thrash.
Yeah, I mean, and exactly. I don't know how you wouldn't be into that if you like thrash metal. So hopefully,
Yeah, exactly.
it makes no sense to me. I'm like, dude, how are you not in that group?
Yeah, that's a good question for someone who likes thrash.
Yeah, and I look for every year. I can't wait to vote on the favorite EP, my favorite album. I can't like
Yeah,
I look forward to it, and that's cool. So shout out to Beardo.
yeah, absolutely. Big shout out to Beardo.
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah, I would also like to talk a little bit about the future plans for Electrocutioner.
yeah,
If it's in general, or if it's about like promoting Harbinger, or
yeah. No, so we already have. I actually. So the future plans for like just the band day to day stuff is we're trying to get bigger shows. We have we played Condition Critical and Wraith in Brooklyn. Like we sold out the joint. It was packed. We're supposed to, I don't, it's not announced yet, but we're supposed to be playing with Gamacide, from
right,
Texas. Yeah, we're next month, and we're playing with MOD in December. So we're just trying to get to the next level as the band. We're not gonna kiss ass, but hopefully Harbinger opens some doors for us, like especially in New York and maybe some small festivals. We played the Rage of Armageddon Fest in Brooklyn, which was sick with like Repulsion and Blood
right.
Feast and Deceased. It was amazing. So we're just trying to like, play really good shows and get us out there. But I came up with this idea, like the week after Harbinger dropped. I said, guys, you know what I think we should do? Because we're a pretty simple band. We're riffs, we fast, we don't have, it's like 3 or 4 parts in a song. We don't go crazy. But I said, sometime in October, you guys should just come over to my house. We're gonna get drunk and lock ourselves in the basement, and we're just gonna write the album in 3 days. So that's kind of a goal. We just want to write it, write 8 songs in 3 days. Just go crazy with it, and not write songs that take 6 months long. So right now our plan is to do something like that, where we just write 7 or 8 songs in 2 or 3 days, record it as a demo, and then we're just gonna listen to it in a few months and see like, all right, I think this is great. Maybe make a little tweaks. So we want to move fast. I don't think maybe hopefully, what year is this? 2025? Maybe, yeah, I
Yeah,
forget. I don't know, man. So hopefully I think we had about a year and a half turnaround from the last album, so maybe 2 years, but we're gonna try to record it super fast, and we might even try to record a live album at this next show in Brooklyn with MOD and
right.
Gamsnag. We might try to get some live tracks, but yeah, that's the goal. So we're gonna either write an album, or if we get 4 or 5 good songs, maybe we'll do an EP. We're not sure, but we're not stopping. We're gonna try to keep this momentum going, dude.
Right. Because you kind of answered it now, but I was kind of asked that as well. That I assumed that it would be a full-length album, the next one, but
Yeah.
then you don't really know if it's going to be an EP or full-length, maybe.
To me, I'd like to do an album. I think albums are taken more seriously, and like for an EP, if you have 4 songs, you're halfway done. You might as well write 4 more.
Right.
Um, some bands they're a little more involved. They have a lot of technicality, and our songs are pretty simple, man. We like to keep it short. No, nothing crazy. So I think we could do it. I said, I got probably 2 songs written already, and chop that off. So I think it's going to be pretty. And alcohol helps for us. We're an alcohol band, and nobody does drugs. We just drink. So I think it's going to be very helpful. And what's cool about my basement is it's a big metal spot. So you jam, you party, you jam, you party, and just I don't think it'll be that hard.
Yeah, I mean, sounds great, and I of course really look forward to the new music as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you were saying as well, that you're kind of like maybe planning a live album. That also sounds very interesting to me.
Yeah, and it's interesting because most people don't know. Like if you're from New York and you've seen us, if you're our friends, I do a lot of stage banter. Sometimes like
Right.
it's like I'm very like Billy Milano from SOD. I like to crack a lot of jokes, and it's and crazy shit always happens. Like at our last show with Wraith and Condition at our record release show, we always have a crazy. Our the people who come to see us are pretty wild. Like we always get the power knocked out because stage divers. This one guy, they threw him up and he just landed right on the PA on his spine and just blew
Oh,
out. He just shut off all the amps and shit with one switch. So we always have like I think like our live shit it would be a really entertaining live album. So I think it's not
right.
just gonna be it's gonna be probably pretty funny and things like that. And also the chaos will come across, but it's definitely not just gonna hear 5 live songs. So
Right.
we're gonna encourage even more chaos because we're gonna tell them you're gonna be on the album forever. So
Yeah, I mean, when you're saying it like that, it definitely sparks my interest for a live
Yeah.
album for sure.
Yeah, I think that's what we want to do because, like I said, we play faster live, and we're even, you know, that's how it is. We're kind of like, I think our style works really well live too. So
Right. Yeah.
it's going to be pretty. I think it's going to be a good, you know, a way to kind of capture the spirit of the band.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so too. But yeah, I'm about to run out of questions. But is there something else that you would like to say before we end? Something, for
I
example, that you wish I asked about the album, or just generally something you want to say to the people listening, or whatever it might be.
Well, I'll think about that first part, but yeah, for anybody who's checking out the interview, first off, appreciate it. If you listen to our album or you bought something or just even just gave us a like, we appreciate it because we all have limited time on this earth, so the fact that you sacrifice an hour to check out the album, we definitely appreciated that more than you can imagine. If you like what you hear, you could buy a copy, a CD, a tape from our record label, CDN Records, who are awesome. I think we have vinyls coming down the way, so I gotta make room. I gotta put one right in there. Hopefully vinyls come. And then I would just say, bro, like I think what I would say is nothing. I wouldn't promote myself, but yeah, like what we were talking earlier, like start promoting thrash bands. Like when I always tell people, like, in these festivals like Hell's Heroes or Milwaukee or Keep It True, anybody, when they're asking who you want to see, bro, like, and leave a comment. Like, I'm not talking about us, any band, like, don't, like, you guys got everybody, and I do it all the time. We should be like an army, we got to make thrash metal more
Right.
popular. So we're fighting, death metal's huge and everything's huge. So I think, it's time for these thrash fans to become a little more rabid and maniacs again. Like they need to hear us. So when you're at that show, you just yell out, go find the promoter and say you need to book this type of band. So, and I'm not talking about us. I'm talking about wherever you are. So whatever country you are, you got to demand. You got to demand. I always tell a lot of metal fans like, I shouldn't. I hate fans. Like if you're a metalhead, do something. Like if you can't play an instrument, start a podcast, do a zine, print shirts. You get metal is so, and I think you would agree. Metal is even better when you're involved in the not the scene, but when you're involved in something like this.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely, absolutely.
I'm sure your metal, I'm sure your love for metal has increased because you're talking to bands and you're doing your research and things like that. So I would just encourage people to get involved, man. What even if you like death metal or black metal, just do something to make those bands and that scene even stronger.
Absolutely. I mean that's a mentality that we obviously strongly support, and something that we kind of live by as well.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, we appreciate the work you guys do by writing music and doing the things you do.
Yeah, well, hey, man, it's fun, and we want to get it out there. We want to see our vision out there. So,
Yeah,
old school thrash metal forever.
absolutely.
The
Forever.
new wave of old school thrash metal.
Yeah. But yeah, like I've kind of described it many times before, that basically, like, the things we do is basically our way of thanking you for the things you do.
Yeah, man. Well, hey, man, we definitely appreciate it. Like I said, there's bands that are bigger than us, and there's bands that, some bands are really lucky, dude. Whether it's and sometimes they're deserving of it and sometimes they're not. Like sometimes bands blow up or they have a strong fan base or they're on a good label or whether it's social media. We're old school, so like we really appreciate band, when you choose to spot like a band like us. So
Yeah.
that's we appreciate that. Because we're pretty much boots on the ground, and we're pretty much cavemen.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, unless you have anything else to do, to say, I would like to thank you very, very much for taking the time to sit down and do this episode.
yeah, no, appreciate it, man. So yeah, keep listening to Thrash and check out Metal Verbalizers. They're the best. They do a lot of work of the research for you.
Yeah, and of course, we encourage you to strongly to check out Electrocutioner in turn.
Appreciate it.
But
Hell
yeah,
yeah.
thank you very much, and good luck with the future things that Electrocutioner do.
Hell yeah. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a good one. Now that the episode is over, we want to encourage you to go and check this album out. If you're into thrash metal and generally serious music, this is definitely an album that you definitely need to check it out. Don't forget to go and show Electrocutioner some support as well. Interacting with their social media pages, sharing their music, and generally telling them that you enjoy their music is very important. It really is. It's a great way to help the bands as well as, encourage them to keep going, which will help, metal in general and keep metal alive. We really appreciate that you've been listening all the way to the end. Really appreciate it. And thank you very much for listening to and supporting Metal Verbalizers. We will be back to verbalize again next week.